Good evening. It's now 6 p.m. and the April 15th meeting of the Dublin San Ramon Services District Board of Directors is called to order. Please join me in a pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Director Johnson?
Here.
Director Von Heater-Leopold?
Here.
Director Govinda Rao?
Here.
Vice President Halkett?
Here.
President Goel?
Present. Thank you. Moving on to item 4, special announcements and activities. Item 4A, new employee introductions. Staff.
Good evening, President Goel, members of the board. My name is Michelle Gallardo, Administrative Services Director. I'd like to introduce our newest administrative assistant to the Administrative Services Department, Nicole Rodriguez. Nicole comes to the district with over 6 years of administrative experience in public sector. Her most recent role was as a senior office assistant at the City of Pleasanton, and she was responsible for providing clerical and administrative support. She also helped maintain city documents and agreements, updating city's website, utilizing a variety of software programs, publishing legal notices, and other administrative support activities. Nicole holds a degree in business administration from Cal State East Bay and holds a California Professional Municipal Clerk's Certificate. We'd like to welcome Nicole.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
I'm excited to join the DSRSD team and looking forward to it. So I appreciate the warm.
Thank you.
We love people from Pleasanton.
I've heard.
Will we ever be allowed? I mean, do we need to go undercover if we ever go to Pleasanton, like dinner or something? I get nervous crossing the city limits after.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you and welcome aboard. Moving on to item 5, public comment. At this time, those in the audience are encouraged to address the board on any item of interest that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board and not already included on tonight's agenda. Comments should not exceed 5 minutes. Are there any speaker cards from the members of the public?
No speaker cards.
Thank you. Moving on to item 6, we'll move on to agenda management.
No recommended changes. The closed session this evening will be held in the General Manager's Conference Room.
Thank you. Moving on to item 7, the consent calendar. Matters listed under this item are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless requested by a member of the board or the public prior to the time the board votes on the motion to adopt. Is there a motion to approve the items under consent?
I just had a quick question to clarification on 7C. Is that assessment? Is there a change in the assessment fee, or is that the same? Is it going to be just carried over from the previous year?
That is, this particular fee is maxed out for the standby charge, so it stays the same.
Stays the same. Okay, that's all I wanted. Good, thank you.
All right. With that, do I have a motion?
I'll move to move the minutes. I mean the motion.
The consent calendar.
Consent calendar. Sorry.
All right. And a second. So I have a motion by Director Govinda Rao and a second by Director Von Heater-Leopold. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? Any abstentions? The motion carries unanimously. Moving on to item 8, board business. Item 8A, receive a presentation and approve proposed Livermore-Amador Valley Water Management Authority, LAVMA, operation and maintenance budget for fiscal years 2026 and 2027. Staff.
Dan Gill, Operations Director, will review this item for the board.
Good evening, President Goel and members of the board. I'm Dan Gill. I'm the DSRSD's Operations Director, and I'll be presenting on the proposed fiscal year 26 and fiscal year 27 LAVMA operations and maintenance budget. A little background. LAVMA is a joint powers agency created in 1974 by the cities of Livermore, Pleasanton, and Dublin San Ramon Services District. In 1980, an operations agreement was executed, making DSRSD responsible for performing all required O&M tasks necessary to meet LAVMA's obligations for conveyance of treated wastewater to the East Bay Dischargers Authority System, or EBDA. Article 6 of the operations agreement requires that both LAMA and DSRSD prepare and adopt a budget regarding the O&M costs anticipated to be incurred for the upcoming fiscal year. This is the LAMA system map. The system began operations in 1979 with expansions in 83, 87, and 2003, bringing maximum discharge capacity to 41.2 million gallons a day. The system includes 3 holding basins with a capacity of 18 million gallons, a pumping plant with 10, 500, and 600 horsepower pumps with enough power to pump water over the Dublin grade to the San Francisco Bay, and a combined 23-mile pipeline, 6.6 miles from the city of Livermore, and then another 16 miles to EBDA. This evening, we are asking the DSRSD board to approve the LAMA portion of the budget. Then this will be brought before the LAMA board, which they'll consider for approval at their next board meeting at May 21st. Here's the proposed budget. We are recommending that the fiscal year 26 proposed budget be set at $3.6 million. This is a 2% overall increase, which is about $70,000 from the current fiscal year 25 adopted budget of about $3.5 million. Then for fiscal year 27, we are proposing a 2.3% increase, around $84,000, and this will cover the expected inflation and labor cost increases. This chart illustrates the cost categories as a proportion of the total budget. You can see that more than half of the budget is comprised of electricity, and a little more than over 1/3 of the budget is labor costs. These proportions remain similar for fiscal year 27. I know I wanted to touch on community choice aggregation. So the LAMA budget does include the 5% energy savings of the Bright Choice AVA Community Energy Plan. And on the solar subject, the solar savings are not included in the budget. Currently, the solar RFP is still to be released, with board approval expected to be sometime late this summer. And with the project being 18 months long, it'll be complete at the end of the fiscal year of 27. So we didn't include those savings yet.
Okay. Well, then that's confusing because it says 5% included. So it is or it isn't?
5% is from the Bright Choice plan, not the photovoltaic,
But the slide said the 5% is included. So is that in the 2027 budget or not?
5% energy savings included was referring to the community choice aggregation and not the solar. So that's the AVA Bright Choice plan.
Oh, okay. I understand now.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
we already made the
I was
switch
thinking they were
from.
the same thing, but you're right, they're not. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Our recommendation and next steps, staff recommends the board approve by motion the proposed LAMA O&M budget for fiscal year 26 and 27. The LAMA board will consider adoption of the fiscal year 26 LAMA budget on May 21st. Staff will incorporate LAMA expenses in the district's operating budget. Then DSRSD's board you will review and consider adoption of the district's operating budget in June. I'll take any questions the board may have.
Okay, let's start on our right side. Right side? None? None?
Nope, pretty straightforward.
Okay, I just have one quick question, and I think I already know the answer, but I'm going to ask it for the sake of asking. Recognizing the 5% savings, anticipated increases that are being aired out, I'm assuming if we end up going above, they'll come back to the board.
Correct.
Okay, very good. With that, open it up for any public comment. Seeing none. Moving it back to the board. Do I have a motion?
I'll move approval.
Okay, I got a first. A second. So I got a motion by Director Halkett and a second by Director Von Heater Leopold. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimous. Moving on to item 8B, receive a presentation on calendar year 2024 public affairs activities and outreach efforts. Staff.
Good evening, President Goel, members of the board. I'd like to introduce Erin Steffen, our Public Affairs Program Administrator, and she'll be giving you a presentation this evening.
Good evening, President Goel, members of the board. My name is Erin Steffen. I am the Public Affairs Program Administrator for DSRSD, and I am before you this evening to provide an update on calendar year public affairs activities and outreach. The Public Affairs Division includes myself and Public Affairs Program Specialist Natalie Stitch. We are under the direction of Administrative Services Director Michelle Gallardo, and as you learned this evening, we are supported by our newest member of the DSRSD team, Nicole Rodriguez. Public Affairs is tasked with growing public awareness of the district's services, priorities, and initiatives. In other words, telling the story of who we are to our community, and that's broken down into 3 different categories: communications, community outreach, and education and partnerships. Our efforts are conducted in alignment with the board's strategic plan goal around customer service and community engagement. And in order to accomplish our tasks, Public Affairs creates and supports written and visual communications. We develop educational programming and informational materials. We conduct community outreach and attend community events. And we serve as district representatives in a number of regional partnerships. I'd like to share some brief highlights around communications for 2024. Social media is a cornerstone for DSRSD's communication strategy. Through social media, we seek to amplify messaging and overall communications, to reach constituents who use social media as their primary news source, to increase brand recognition, and to improve the community's overall understanding of our services. So themes that we generally focus on include water conservation, water supply, pollution prevention, behind-the-scenes insights, community events, environmental stewardship, outreach campaigns, and more. In 2024, DSRSD conducted a total of 239 posts across our social media platforms, which include Facebook, X, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Turning to our 3 primary platforms that we use, in Facebook, we received a total reach of 53,000 users. In X, we achieved total impressions of 12,400. And in Nextdoor, which is used for urgent messaging and direct constituent contact, we boasted our largest audience with 118,000 members. We also kicked off a DSRSD at Work series, which was a social media post every month to establish brand identity and to pull back the curtain on routine operations that take place throughout the district. Really helps us to build connections with the community. Outreach campaigns are conducted on behalf of DSRSD using tactics such as videos, bill inserts, flyers, newsletter articles, press releases, social media posts, web pages, and more. In addition to ongoing campaigns and recurring campaigns such as water conservation or the annual water quality report, some outreach campaigns that we'd like to highlight from the last year include the water rate adjustment, the promotion of the Citizens Water Academy, information around the district board elections, the operation of and results of the lead service line survey, and the launch of the billing payment portal. Brand identity is key for DSRSD in reinforcing who we are and establishing our presence out in the community. In 2024, we retooled several public-facing items for a cohesive look and feel, staff-branded shirts for public events, our pop-up tent and tablecloth, and more. We also launched a redesigned Pipeline e-newsletter in order to strengthen our branding and engagement. We saw the monthly newsletter reach an average of 13,200 recipients, and it received an open rate of 64%, which is far above the industry average of 43%. We also saw the number of customer clicks in our new platform more than double over our previous platform, so we're seeing a lot more engagement with the newsletter. In 2024, we also conducted a district-wide photo shoot emphasizing routine operations both in the field and at the plant. We harvested over 1,400 images that we're using now in our outreach materials. Finally, I'd like to point out the PowerPoint template that you've been enjoying in recent months. This is a redesigned template with a clean, modern look that lends itself better to storytelling. Public Affairs hosted a webinar for DSRSD staff to introduce them to the new template and to help train them in some of the new features and opportunities in this new template. Now, throughout the year, Public Affairs produces a variety of internal and external documents that are meant to inform, educate, and present regulatory information. That's just a sample. Now turning to community outreach and education. In 2024, Oscar the Otter got a brand new look. Our mascot makeover was complete with a cooling vest and cooling headpiece for the costume wearer. Oscar is used throughout the year to deliver information and strategic messaging, primarily via social media. However, Oscar does make an annual appearance at the City of Dublin's St. Patrick's Day Parade, where he is a pretty big hit. Community events allow for the district to meet our constituents where they are at in day-to-day lives and to build some authentic relationships and moments of authenticity and connection. In 2024, DSRSD participated in 25 different community events across our service area. Those took the shape of science fairs and STEAM nights, speaker events such as the ADU fair that was hosted for Alameda County discussing permitting requirements, and community events such as Dublin Pride Week, farmers markets, and San Ramon's Truck Time. Turning to education, in 2024, the district hosted its biennial Citizens Water Academy for 25 Dublin and San Ramon participants. The program included 3 evening sessions and a screening of Brave Blue World, as well as a plant tour at the end. We also supported Zone 7's Water Academy, which is an in-classroom water education classroom series that targets elementary and middle school students. In the school year for 23-24, Zone 7 led 42 classes in San Ramon and 155 classes in Dublin. Public Affairs also kicked off an education program survey in 2024, receiving responses on programming from 17 water wastewater agencies. We also spoke with teachers, school administrators, and school district staff to learn more about the educational programming that would be most impactful for them, that would also align with our targeted messaging. We distributed and produced a comic book that was Defenders of the Bay. This is meant to educate and inform youth about the wastewater collection system and the threats that face that system, as well as the steps that those individuals can take to protect the system. Anecdotally, I can tell you it is kid catnip. My children love it. In 2024, we also hosted 11 tours of the wastewater treatment plant, reaching a total of 250 individuals. Now, tours continue to be a popular way to educate and inform youth, customers, and industry professionals about DSRSD's efforts as a resource recovery agency. We have a sample of thank you notes on the screen from the Dublin High School Engineering and Design Academy from a recent tour, and I'll just briefly read one of those to you. Thank you both so much for the amazing and well thought out tour. It was a pleasure learning about all the ingenuity and planning that goes into the operation of the plant and the efforts you all go to keep our water fresh and clean. Turning to partnerships for 2024. In 2024, we concluded a Tri-Valley Water 101 outreach campaign. This campaign kicked off in May of 2021 and used print and broadcast media, social media, videos, and more to educate the public on the Tri-Valley's water journey and the threats and opportunities facing our regional water supply. Early campaign results include 7.82 million impressions from the campaign, nearly 69,000 users of the Tri-Valley Water Partners website, nearly 84,000 views on YouTube of 5 produced videos, and a before and after survey that indicated a 10% increase in public awareness of regional water supply sources, challenges, and solutions. So we're really excited to bring a fuller report to you in the future, giving more detail about that. We also participated in a number of interagency partnerships throughout the year. A couple minor examples include the City of Dublin's bottle refill stations. With DSRSD support, the city installed 5 bottle refill stations in parks throughout the community. And we then conducted a coordinated public education campaign on benefits of consuming potable water and of using reusable water bottles as a pollution prevention message. We also worked with Zone 7 and Stop Waste to host a lawn to garden party at Emerald Glen Park in April and an irrigation workshop that took place right here in the boardroom. One thing I'm really excited about is our Tri-Valley Water Conservation Art Contest, our first regional one that kicked off at the very end of 2024 under the theme of Habitat Heroes Transforming Lawns into Vibrant Native Gardens. K through 12 students from the partner agency service areas were invited to create and submit visual artwork that explores water conservation. So submittals, applications were closed on March 3rd. There were about 240 submissions in our first year, and I would like to celebrate that the City of Dublin was the leading city with over 100 submissions. So we're pretty excited about that. Voting for finalists and the winners will take place in spring with an award ceremony that is tentatively scheduled in May. Now, looking ahead to 2025, we're excited to share a number of projects that are coming our way. Kicking off in communications, there is a LinkedIn pilot public outreach campaign that is taking place currently, kicked off in March, and will go through August 2025. Public Affairs is working with Human Resources to increase awareness and engagement of DSRSD using this platform to connect with the water wastewater industry, to increase the number of qualified applicants for DSRSD positions, and to enhance employee engagement and recognition. We also anticipate a number of campaigns that will be coming in 2025 regarding regulatory compliance, such as water conservation as a way of life and lead and copper testing in schools. We're going to continue to focus on brand identity with some event signage, a curated library of photos and videos for agency use, a PowerPoint presentation slide library for commonly used slides, and a series of videos meant to inform and educate. As you can see on the screen, we're already underway with that. We're also looking to expand upon our emergency preparedness communications. Here we're looking to update information, expand our content, develop new resources, and incorporate translated documents so that the agency is ready for communications in the eventuality of an emergency. One project that I know we're all very much looking forward to is the DSRSD website update. So as you can see from the design mock-up on the screen, we are looking forward to a cleaner, streamlined look, better mobile functionality and ADA accessibility, and a reorganized layout to prioritize the user's experience. So this project kicked off in fall of 2024. We've had 16 internal focus group meetings so far, and we're excited to see this project go live and anticipated for early fall 2025 launch. This is another item that I look forward to bringing more information to the board as we continue to develop this. Turning to communication and community outreach and education, we look to continue our enhanced presence at local STEAM events and science fairs. Here you can see the JROTC event that happened earlier in April with 180 cadets over at Camp Parks. And I would like to offer a special thank you to Director Halkett for participating in the Dublin High School's Climate Summit just this past Saturday. We're also looking to enhance our plant tours with some permanent installed signage meant to help illustrate what's happening beneath the surface, and to complete our education program assessment and provide some recommendations on ways that we can complement the robust in-classroom programming that's already underway via Zone 7. We are also looking forward to continuing our Tri-Valley Water Conservation Art Contest, which is a lovely bridge into our partnerships for 2025. In addition to that contest, we look forward to continuing regional connections and partnerships, particularly around the regulatory program outreach campaigns. We anticipate a regional messaging approach, and so we're working closely with our regional partners there. We also anticipate that we will be continuing to work with our professional associations such as Aqua and CASA on their regular outreach and messaging. So, in conclusion, I'd like to thank the board for your support and strategic guidance of public affairs as we endeavor to educate and inform and educate, and in other words, tell DSRC's story. So, thank you very much. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Thank you for that great presentation, recap of 2024, and a forward look on 2025. I know when I first started here at the board, it wasn't anything like this. And so this is leaps and bounds an improvement. And I think it's the forward direction that our community, our constituents, and the people we serve expect, right? Is to tell them what we are doing, tell them how we're doing it, and how they can be better informed. So thank you very much for that. With that, we'll ask if there's anybody on the board that wants to make any comments.
Like President Gold said, excellent presentation. And, you know, I know when I also started, I mean, this was something that was near and dear to me about really raising the level of public affairs. And I mean, just, you know, you can see all the different activities you've been involved with, definitely stepped it up, and really appreciate all the work your team. I know it's 3 people or a couple people, but it's a small team, but it's done a lot of work there. So appreciate that. A couple things I would like to just add to it is, with these different activities, is looking at trying to figure out ways on board engagement. And I think that's, I know some of us on the board would, definitely appreciate that and would like to be involved. So just if there's opportunities for that, please let us know. The other thing too is also, I know we serve both kind of, Dublin as well as San Ramon. So just getting the San Ramon schools involved, SRVSD involved as well. And I know there's a science fair again coming up this Saturday, so I'm not sure if we reached out, but something in the future. It's an annual thing that they do, so getting involved with them, I think, would be quite beneficial as well. So as we're increasing our public outreach and our presence in the community. But great job, thank you very much.
Excellent, well done. Keep it up.
I'm just really happy to see increasing amount of public involvement, because for so many years we were background, sort of in the dark, and nobody knew our name or what we did, and that's improving, and I'm really happy to see that after all these years. But it's great programs. I'm absolutely thrilled that you're reaching out the way you are. Thank you.
I just had a quick question, because I didn't hear you talk about how you support operations with regards to construction projects. Is there any role public affairs is doing with regards to, hey, we're going to be doing this pipeline replacement in your area or this testing in your area? Because I know I've seen the trucks near where I live, and I had no clue why they're there. And
people ask.
I saw them out in front of the donut shop, and I was there, and I bought them donuts, but I had to ask them why they were there. So as a general person, if I'm going to this new website, will there be like a button that I'll click to see, what's impacting me? Or can you elaborate a little bit on how you support operations?
Sure. So there's routine operations, such as I think you described, and we try and use Nextdoor where it might be impacting individuals, particularly, if we're out doing hydrant flushing and that might impact their water flow. So we do try and inform without overwhelming. And so we try and strike a balance with the routine operations. And that's also where that DSRSD at Work series helps us to slide in some of that information. So when they see the trucks out in the field, they can kind of reflect upon what that means. As far as construction projects, we definitely work closely with the engineering department, and align with their timing for outreach in advance of projects. We will send out mail communications if there are any projects that would be impacting their right-of-way or their flow or their day-to-day lives. And we post up about those events also on the website, so we'll look to continue that.
All right. With that, this was an information item only, so thank you. We'll be moving on to item 9, reports, board items. 9A1 is Joint Power Authority and committee reports. I believe there were none. Okay. Moving on to item 9A2, submittal of written reports for days of service events attended by directors. Written reports are due this evening. Does anyone have anything to report? Okay.
I attended 3 meetings. Two of them were CASA committee meetings. One was reviewing the budget, and we will be looking at, unfortunately, a 3% increase in dues. I know dues is becoming quite a concern because between Aqua and CASA and ACSB, it's a huge part of the budget, but that's what we're looking at right now is 3% that will be included in the budget. The other committee was the nominating committee for the next board election in August. We had an interesting situation that's never arisen, is that a word, before, in that every single one of the people that are up have decided to run again. That complicates it a little bit because there's no real election. It's a board interview process that happens, and then the board presents a slate that gets voted on in August. And so we have a lot of people questioning, how do I get involved in the board? Well, if you have someone, and I'm guilty of it too, I've been there for 12 years. If nobody wants to go off the board, the current board has been very good about just reappointing them, but the emphasis is to try and get other people involved in the board. But right now, those nominations are the 3 people that were retiring. The last meeting I attended was the yesterday's ACWD, Alameda County Special Districts. I don't know why I said ACWD. Anyway, we met yesterday, and we have been putting a lot of effort into trying to get more people. This goes on, again, I've been there for 10 years, so you see it continue to repeat itself. They want to have all of the special district host, but then they have a problem because LARPD hosts, and that's too far for people from Oakland to come at 8 o'clock in the morning. So, but we are still trying to reach out to people to get all of the other districts involved. And at our meeting in, let's see, July is going to be at EBDA. September is going to be at Hayward area, and November is going to be at Oraloma. We're going back to the same place for our annual dinner. We're doing a review of the bylaws right now. We currently have a sizable amount in the budget, in the bank. Forget the budget. Well, we've far exceeded the budget in terms of money, so we are looking for some projects at this time to spend the money on. That's all I have.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I have a brief one. Aaron mentioned it. I attended the Dublin High School Climate Conference Summit on Saturday as a speaker on a panel. Shared the stage with some Stop Waste folks and other activists involved with reuse of reuse and using metal plates and stuff instead of paper. and then somebody from the state whose name escapes me. Well attended, a little chaotic, but you know it's their first summit, and they pulled it off. Funny story. I think we changed the schedule 3 times in the last 72 hours before we did it.
Did the kids put it on?
The kids and a teacher, yeah. Poor Erin. I was traveling on Friday, and she was desperately trying to make sure I got the message, and I didn't get to her till 8 o'clock at night. I apologize for that. Um, the panel was good. We were all pulled the rope in the same direction. I got about two bites at the apple. Hit all the things. Public affairs did a great job of giving me speaking points and such. So, resource recovery, partnerships, you know, all the good mom and apple pie stuff that we do. We talk about. Diane did a great job. She had another session, more of kind of a water in the valley 101, kind of the standard slide deck, and it was well received as well. Then one little anecdote after the panel broke up, people were coming up for Q&A before they did other stuff, and this one young lady, she's a biology geek. She loves biology, and when she learned that our plant runs on microorganisms, she was just jazzed. So she and Diane and Aaron and I went across the room to where Diane's stuff was still set up. We're looking at slides and books of rotaries and worms and amoebas and all sorts of crud. She has this master plan, and she'd probably do it because they're all smarter than we are. She wants to bioengineer, superbugs to make the genetically engineer like superbugs to make them work even better in the plant. Levi, you may want those. So she's dying for a plant tour. She's dying for a lab tour. I think we can probably hook that up, and she'll probably be at the next plant tour. But anyway, very enthusiastic, and she was just an example of these kids get it.
Target audience.
They're smart as heck, and they're going to save us. So it was a good day.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item 9A3, the request for any new agenda items to be placed on a future board or committee agenda. Do I have any? None. Moving on to 9B, staff reports. Staff.
Upcoming announcements. This Thursday is DSRSD's 72nd birthday, so happy birthday to DSRSD. On the 21st, we have our liaison committee with Central SAN at their office. Directors Govindarao and Director Johnson are our representatives, and just, that gentle reminder to plan for traffic going northbound.
It usually takes me an hour. Yeah.
On the next Wednesday, the 23rd, is the Dublin State of the City. A number of the board members have signed up for that. And then on the 28th is our Derwa JPA meeting, and Directors Von Heater Leopold and Director Halkett are covering that meeting. So those are the announcements. I also wanted to draw the board's attention to the written general manager's monthly report that's included in the packet. So we do a lot of cool things here. We're very busy. And so we've added this report, and moving forward, we'll include it monthly to just highlight some of the key activities and progress we've made on projects. It also includes at the end some production charts showing water supply, recycled water production, and flows into the wastewater treatment plant for the month, just to give the board an idea of our operations that occurred. So staff is happy to answer any questions the board may have on the written report, but we will, as I mentioned, include that moving forward.
Okay. Any comments, questions?
I just want to say thank you for that report. It was amazing. It's great, to see that, and love the charts.
I just had maybe a bit of a digression. I mean, not report, but assuming that since snowfall is normal, we will not be discussing again a citizen water pickup. We had talked about a station.
Correct. The board policy is only to consider a residential fill station during mandatory. Correct.
Again, at potentially Gleason. Okay. All right.
Any other questions, comments? All right. With that, we'll move on to item 10, a closed session. Board will retreat to the general manager's room. This is also a reminder, please put your mics on mute.
Thank you for attending, everyone. Good reports.
board meeting is back in open session. The closed session has concluded. There was no reportable action taken in closed session. Moving on to item 12, adjournment. The meeting is adjourned at 8:25 p.m. Have a great evening.